Today's lesson is called, Is It All Greek to You? Understanding the Origins of Geographic Idioms. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Roger. Again, today we're going to continue talking about the origins of geographic idioms. We're trying to understand where they come from, and we're trying to answer the question, hey, is it all Greek to you? Remember, if you don't understand something, especially if it's from a difficult to understand foreign language, you could say, oh, it's all Greek to me. And remember last time we talked about some idioms that come from Rome. All roads lead to Rome. And then the other one was Rome was not built in a day. We also mentioned some idioms that came from France as well.
There you go. We Frenched it up on day one as well. So we talked about Rome, then moved on to France. You can say, pardon my French. That's a geographic idiom that people use after they say a bad word. Okay, pardon my French. And you can also use this phrase, French kiss, if you want to talk about a particular romantic type of kiss, but I digress. Anyways, that's enough for France, or that's enough with France, and that's enough with Rome. Let's go ahead and move on to what we're going to be talking about today, okay? We're going to be talking about some geographic idioms having to do with England, and then Greece as well. And yes, go ahead and look in your title. There's a geographic idiom featuring Greece. It's staring you guys right in the face. Is it all Greek to you? There you have it. And I believe we have discussed this particular idiom already. And next, we'll be discussing it some more as well. So hey, that's enough talking for now. Let's get started.
It's all Greek. Or has also given rise to idiomatic expressions in English. The phrase Trojan horse goes back to Greek mythology. In one story, Greek soldiers hid inside a wooden horse to enter and destroy Troy. The trick worked, and the Trojans lost the war. Today, a Trojan horse is someone or something that intends to deceive. A Trojan horse can also be a program that seems harmless, but actually installs malicious software onto your computer.
大家好，首先在第一部分我们看到的单字是名词 mythology， 代表神话。例如 Joseph considered the stories of ancient Roman mythology fascinating. Joseph 认为古罗马神话的故事很引人入胜。再来我们看到的单字是 intend， 这个字做动词用，指打算、计划。常写作 intend to 接原形动词。举例来说 The local government intends to create a more efficient bus system by next year. 地方政府打算在明年以前打造一个更有效率的公车系统。又或者说每次我念书的时候笔电是开着的，我就会比计划中花更多时间。英文就是 Every time I study with my laptop on, I'll spend more time than I intend to. 如果把字尾去掉 d 加上 tion就变成名词 intention, I-N-T-E-N-T-I-O-N, 表示意图、打算。例如 Helen just announced her intention to join the race for mayor. Helen 刚刚宣布了她对于角逐市长的意图。再来看到的单字是 deceive, 这个字当作动词，代表欺骗或者蒙蔽的意思。例如 You shouldn't deceive Rachel if you want her to remain your friend. 你不应该欺骗 Rachel,如果还想要他这个朋友的话。又或者说 The restaurant was caught deceiving customers by selling expired steaks. 这间餐厅被抓到贩卖过期的牛排，欺骗顾客。接下来我们看到的单字是 malicious. 这个字是形容词，表示心怀恶意的或恶毒的。例如 When the boxer is competing in a game, there is always a malicious look in his eyes.当那位拳击手在比赛的时候，总会带着恶狠狠的眼神。又或者说 The teenage hacker implanted a malicious program on the police's network. 那位青少年骇客在警察的网络中植入了一个恶意程式。
All right, so let's talk about the first part of today's lesson. It's all Greek. And war has also given rise to idiomatic expressions in English. Of course, lots of new inventions come from wars, and war also helps us come about, or at least gives rise, war gives rise to idiomatic expressions in English. Of course, English-speaking countries have been involved in wars for many centuries, and so they've given rise, or they've brought them about. They've brought these expressions about. Let's start with the phrase Trojan horse. That goes back to Greek mythology. Now, remember, the Greeks were the pillar, or at least one of the pillars of Western civilization, along with the Roman civilization. So, of course, we know a thing or two about old Greek stories. And if you talk about old stories from different civilizations, you oftentimes refer to them as their mythology. Of course, there's Chinese mythology and Egyptian mythology, etc.
There you go, the Trojan horse. That was a special tactic that the Greeks there from Athens deployed against the people of Troy. The people of Troy, by the way, were called the Trojans. And if you want to learn more about the Trojan horse, look up the Iliad by Homer. I-L-I-A-D, the Iliad. And that is going to be the story of this war where they used the Trojan horse. Anyways, apparently war does create idiomatic expressions, and the first of these is the phrase Trojan horse. Yes, in one story, Greek soldiers hid inside a wooden horse to enter and destroy Troy. So there you have it. I believe it was Ulysses or Odysseus, okay, who came up with this plan. What we'll do is we'll say, hey, here's a really nice present for you guys there in Troy. We're leaving. We're not going to invade your city anymore. We don't want to breach the walls of Troy anymore, so here's a gift. And yes, the Trojans, they weren't very smart, I guess, so they pulled that horse inside of their city walls, not knowing that there was a Greek army in there, or Greek people who were from Athens, I should say, who were different from the Trojans, and they invaded Troy, which is now, I believe, in modern-day Turkey, okay? But one way or another, let's focus on Trojan horse, or on this phrase, the Trojan horse. Yes, Greek soldiers hid inside a wooden horse, the Trojan horse, and then they entered and destroyed Troy. And the trick worked, and the Trojans lost the war. For a long, long time, the walls of Troy held up. No one could invade, no one could get in there until the Trojan horse was used, and this was successful.
Yeah, indeed it was successful, at least according to the myth, and most people don't believe that this story actually happened. I certainly don't believe it happened because the Trojans must have been pretty stupid to believe that that Trojan horse was safe, and they probably could hear the soldiers inside breathing and making noise and stuff like that, so they would be real idiots if they fell for that one. But in any case, we still have the story of the Trojan horse. And today, a Trojan horse is someone or something that intends to deceive. So we use that phrase nowadays to describe someone or something that has the intention or wants to deceive or fool someone else. To intend means that's what you mean to do.
There you go. Yes, today a Trojan horse is someone or something that intends to deceive. Like there's a Trojan horse computer virus out there. It acts like it's one thing, but then when you download it and you let it into your computer there, or you let it onto your hard drive, it begins to wreak havoc and spread all sorts of nasty things onto your computer drive. Not unlike those soldiers there who wreaked havoc inside the walls of Troy because they used this Trojan horse. Yes, if you intend to do something, by the way, you aim to do that thing. That's what you mean to do. That's what you want to do. And then you do it. Anyways, yes, a Trojan horse, like I said before, can also be a program that seems harmless but actually installs malicious software onto your computer, all sorts of bad stuff. Now, we've got a lot to talk about here. First of all, we've got the word program. Here, a program is a computer application or app that serves a specific purpose. That's all there is to it.
That is it. And I did want to say that I've heard of this referred to simply as a Trojan and not necessarily as a Trojan horse. Hey, you might have a Trojan in your computer, but I believe you can use the whole phrase here, Trojan horse, to describe that program that somehow gets into your computer. It may seem harmless, it may seem okay, but it actually is going to do something bad to your computer. It actually installs malicious software onto your computer. So, of course, if you want to put some kind of computer program into your computer, you need to install it. Just like if it's really hot in the summer and your air conditioner is not working, you need to call someone to install a new air conditioner. Of course, you can't do it yourself. It's too heavy and you probably don't understand the electricity, so you need to call an expert to have them install the air conditioner.
There you go. Usually when people are talking about installing stuff, they're talking about putting something, like a machine, in a place so that that thing can work or function, operate, so on and so forth. But here we're talking about installing computer programs. Now, if you don't want to get a Trojan or a Trojan horse, you can install an antivirus program onto your computer. Yes, install an antivirus program onto your computer to keep your computer safe. Now, speaking of programs, very often when we are talking about computer programs, we use the word software. Yes, the word software refers to computer programs, often operating systems like Linux or OS X or Windows and stuff like that. Anyways, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be talking about some more geographic idioms featuring Greece.
Speaking of ancient Greece, one of its greatest city-states was Sparta, whose people, the Spartans, were known for their discipline in battle and rejection of creature comforts. Therefore, today, if you say something is Spartan, it is very simple and austere.
第二部分我们看到的单字是 austere， 这个字是形容词，表示生活简朴、不奢华的、苦行的。例如 Behind the Croatian all-star midfielder Luka Modric was an austere childhood during the war. 在克罗埃西亚的明星中场 Luka Modric 背后是战火中艰苦的童年生活。又或者说 To save the money for his children, the father lives an austere life. 为了要省钱给他的孩子用，这位爸爸过着简朴的生活。
Okay, now remember the title of our article for the past couple of days has started with this question, is it all Greek to you? So now today we're focusing on Greece itself, the Greek mythology and the Greek myth of the Trojan horse. So while we're on the subject, speaking of ancient Greece, since we're talking about ancient Greece, one of its greatest city-states was Sparta, whose people, the Spartans, were known for their discipline in battle and rejection of creature comforts. So yes, while we're speaking of Greece, we should mention the great city-state of Sparta, okay? And Sparta actually still exists. It's a city in Greece nowadays, but in ancient Greece, it was something else. It was a city-state. And if you describe people from Sparta, at least at the time, they were described as being, well, as having a lot of discipline, okay, which means they have a lot of self-control. That's what discipline is. If you're in the army, for example, your drill sergeant will want to instill discipline in you. You must obey orders and do what you're told. Otherwise, you're going to cause a lot of problems when a battle begins. There needs to be training and there needs to be discipline. And the Spartans were known for their discipline when they were fighting in battle, and they were also known for their rejection of creature comforts.
There you go. By the way, the Spartans, that culture was a very interesting culture. I believe that culture centered around making soldiers of its people and its populace. Okay, that was the most important thing. Turn young men into great soldiers so that Sparta can defend itself from some of its more powerful neighbors. And yes, Spartan warriors apparently had unbelievable discipline in life and in battle. And by the way, a person with discipline trains themselves to follow a schedule, a set of rules, etc. Okay, the Spartans apparently were unbelievably disciplined, worked together really, really well on the battlefield, and just didn't make any mistakes at all. They were very disciplined, okay? Anyways, we also have this word rejection. Apparently, Spartans were known for their rejection of creature comforts. They wanted to be uncomfortable for the most part, okay? They didn't want to be coddled. They wanted nothing to be soft and safe. Remember, these are people who were raised to be soldiers, so there was no fun in their lives for the most part. It was all about war and fighting and stuff like that. So yes, they were known for their rejection of creature comforts. That means they said no to creature comforts. No, I don't want a bed with a mattress. I'll sleep on the floor, thank you very much. The nice hard floor there. Yes, that's what rejection is all about. Rejection is a situation or a state where someone has turned something down, where they've said no to something.
Right, so of course sometimes when boys are afraid to ask girls out, it's because they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid that the girl will say no if the boy tries to ask them out for a date or something like that. So again, rejection here is the noun, and it's from the verb to reject, or to turn someone down, to say no to their request. So yes, they reject those creature comforts. Of course, they were offered rooms in 3-star hotels during the battle, but they said, nope, we don't need that. We're going to reject that creature comfort. We don't need that luxury. We're going to sleep out on the battlefield, on the bare ground. We are known for our discipline, and of course, we're from Sparta, which of course is known, or at least was known, as a place for producing hard-fighting soldiers. Now, therefore, as a result, today, if you say something is Spartan, it's very simple and austere. Yes, you can describe a place as being very Spartan. If you check into a hotel, for example, and you're not impressed by their facilities, you might say, this hotel is very Spartan. I don't want to stay here. It doesn't have many luxuries.
Yeah, let's say if you go to a hotel like that, cheap rooms might be very Spartan. They won't have much in them. There might be a bed and a lamp and maybe a table, and then that's that. There's very little there. It's a very simple room and an austere room. Anyways, folks, with that, it is time for us to take a break, but when we come back, we are going to talk for England, apparently.
Talk for England. If you're wondering whether any English idioms come from English-speaking places, there's the expression, sent to Coventry. It refers to the fact that during the English Civil War, caught troops that were loyal to the king were taken as prisoners to Coventry. Today, when you send someone to Coventry, you refuse to have anything to do with them. Travel around the world with these idiomatic expressions. They'll take you far and wide on your English journey.
Okay, let's talk for England now. And if you're wondering whether any English idioms come from English-speaking places, there's the expression, sent to Coventry. Now, as an American, I had not heard of this phrase until today's lesson. So I suppose if you talk to somebody from England and they do use this phrase, then you'll realize it's quite useful there in jolly old England. I know Coventry, it's a city in England somewhere, and I think there's a band from Coventry called the Primitives. I used to listen to them back in the 90s, but in any case, sent to Coventry is a phrase that you'll hear people in England using. What exactly does it mean?
Yeah, and by the way, I'm also an American. I've never heard this expression before in my life. Sent to Coventry. What does it mean? Well, it refers to the fact that during the English Civil War, caught troops or captured troops that were loyal to the king were taken as prisoners to Coventry. So there you go. You've got the English Civil War. People are fighting there. People are trying to get rid of the king. And if you were loyal to the king, the king's opponents or adversaries, they're going to take you to Coventry. That's what happened during the English Civil War. So today, when you send someone to Coventry, you refuse to have anything to do with them. You say, all right, I'm going to send you to Coventry. It's like I'm sending you to jail. I just want nothing to do with you ever again. I'm going to refuse to have anything to do with you.
Yes, for example, perhaps Graham and Ian used to be buddies, but for some reason they had a falling out. And I asked Graham, hey, when's the last time you saw Ian? And Graham said, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with him anymore. I've sent him to Coventry. Ooh, what happened? You guys must have had an argument or something like that. So there you go. You refuse to have anything to do with someone if you send them to Coventry. Now, travel around the world with these idiomatic expressions. They'll take you far and wide on your English journey. Except for the one about sending someone to Coventry. If you use that in America, they'll probably say, hey, that's all Greek to me. What are you talking about? Because Coventry's in England, not in the United States. They're not going to know what you're talking about.
There you have it. All right, folks, with that, it's time for you guys to hear from the Chinese teacher. Stay tuned.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分有一个单字 deceive， 它是当动词用来表达欺骗蒙蔽。那这边帮同学们补充它的字首字根。好，字首 de 这部分它有分离或是否定的语义。那么 ceive 这个字根呢，它表示取得。我们就可以试着联想啊，以不好的方式、不当的方式取得，那就有欺骗、欺诈的语义。再顺便补充两个也有 ceive 这个字根的单字，像 perceive 这个动词它有理解、认知或是察觉、意识到的意思。那它的字首 per 这部分它表示完全贯穿，那么 sieve 表示接受。我们就可以试着联想，当你完全接受、全心全意接受某事物的时候，你才能好好的理解某事物。好，至于 conceive 这个字， conceive 它有怀胎怀孕的意思，那它的字首 con 除了强调，它还有一起共同的意思。那么 sieve 表示取得。好，那我们来试着联想，怀孕呢就代表两个人一起要迎接得到一个新的生命。除此之外，我们中文也会说孕育新想法、孕育新的点子，所以 conceive 它除了怀胎，它就还有构思、构想、设想的意思。好，接着读到课文第二部分的第一句。Speaking of ancient Greece, one of its greatest city-states was Sparta, whose people, the Spartans, were known for their discipline in battle and rejection of creature comforts. 说到古希腊，其中一个最大的城邦就是斯巴达，它的人民也就是斯巴达人，以在战役中的纪律以及拒绝物质享受而闻名。句子里面的 speaking of 是片语介系词，它表示提到什么、说到什么，那么后面是要接名词或动名词，用来引出跟前文相关的其他话题。例如 Speaking of food, I'm starting to get hungry. Let's go out for lunch. 说到食物，我开始饿了，我们去吃午餐吧。顺便补充一个相似的用法 When it comes to 后面也是接名词或动名词，那这是用来表达提到什么的时候就什么什么而论。例如 When it comes to playing video games, he's the best I know. 说到玩电动啊，他是我认识的人里面最强的。另外要介绍的是 whose 引导关系子句的非限定用法。whose 当所有个关系代名词表示什么什么的，那么之后要接名词，像在课文里面 whose 是用来说明前面的先行词 Sparta， whose people 就表示斯巴达的人民。好，由于先行词 Sparta 是特定的对象，我们不需要再限定它的范围，所以 whose 引导的子句是用来补充说明先行词，那 whose 的前方要加逗号，这就是非限定用法。例如 Veronica whose father is a famous lawyer, comes from a rich family. Veronica 来自一个富裕的家庭，她的爸爸是个有名的律师。那句子里面的关系子句 whose father is a famous lawyer， 这只是用来补充说明 Veronica 她的爸爸是个有名的律师。好，以上是今天的重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Intend. What do you intend to do after college? Deceive. True friends will never try to deceive you. Program. Devin uses a computer program to edit his photos. Install. Joyce showed her parents how to install apps on their phones. Software. Rory works as a software designer for Microsoft. Discipline. There are many methods for teaching discipline to children. Rejection. Don't let fear of rejection stop you from pursuing new opportunities.
Discussion starter starts now.
Here's our discussion starter for today. Do you know other geographic idioms in English?
The phrase, I'm from Missouri, means, hey, show me, prove it to me. Why? Because in the United States, each state has a motto, okay? Missouri's motto is the show me state. So if someone says, I'm from Missouri, what they're saying is, hey, you're going to have to show me or you're going to have to prove something to me.
Well, the expression, I'm Joe Blow from Kokomo, I believe comes from the state of Indiana. I think there's a town in Indiana called Kokomo. And if somebody asks you your name or who you are and you don't want to tell them, you can tell them rudely, hey, I'm Joe Blow from Kokomo, buzz off.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.